Hey everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel God Would Do It For You. My name is Steven and I hope everyone's having a great day so far. Hopefully you're going to get some really good weather like everyone else is and taking full advantage of it. But what we're going to be talking about today is what's been going on with me the last 2 weeks, why haven't I posted, and whether you choose to stay to the end of this or not, I'm going to be giving you a lot of wisdom and knowledge of what God has taught me during this very hard past 2 weeks. Now, to begin, it all starts with timing. I knew that resources were limited, and if you've been keeping up with the videos, you'll know what's going on. It's just I don't want to piggyback on that. But resources were limited, and the provision was not coming in. But I knew that my brother's son and my son, they like to be together whenever they can, and I knew that he only had him for one more week in the summer. And I was like, okay, if I can just get to this Monday, which was 2 weeks ago, then I could at least get a week break with my son so that way I can try to work more or something. God had put someone in my life just a month prior. We were friends and, getting to know each other, this and that, but this person has a very busy work schedule and they're also going through their own things. But just so happened that I met this person and they got to know me in enough time to where when I had gave my son to my brother, they were willing to say, well, hey, the money is not bad here, and so if you wanted to try to work here for some days, you can do that. And so this was over in Charleston, about almost 2 hours away. And so I researched the area and I looked up what people averagely make doing some of these gigs and things like that, and it was higher. So I was like, I could take a risk. And I was doing the math. I said, well, if I could earn this much every day, it would get us closer to at least being able to take care of the main last bill, which was the rest of the rent. So I did. I went there. And the strategy was working, but I still didn't have enough. So by the time my brother was ready to bring my son back, I had then talked to my mother, and I was like, if I just had a little more time here, I could get enough to get the rent taken care of. And it worked. My family said, no, we'll hold on to him if they're willing to, let you stay, which, again, thank God that he put this person in my life at the time that they did, and they were willing, because they were like, hey, I work from 6 a.m. or 8 a.m. until 9 p.m. 5 days out of 7 days a week, which is insane, but sometimes you gotta do what you have to do. So they're like, hey, you can utilize the space that I have that's empty. And that blessing has only reminded me of Elijah when the brook was drying up, and then when it dried up, he now needed to relocate to be taken care of. And so for me, it was like a temporary location to where I needed to be somewhere in a position to be able to get what I needed within a certain time frame. And the fact that that worked, because we just got back this past Friday. It worked, but it was extremely hard. Now, see, I'm in an environment now where it's extremely humid. And if the weather was like what it was where you're located, it was very hot every single day. I've never sweated so much in my life. Literally just coming back inside the door from the heat and sitting on the floor and just passing out, just knocking out. It was extremely hard. Car no AC, driving around in 97 degrees for 3-4 hours at a time, trying to get money. And then the hardest day was when it was around 107 degrees all day. And I had to drive through to it because I had to go take some medicine for my son, and it was running out, and so I had to drive for 6 hours in 107 degree weather, and I almost nodded off maybe 3 or 4 times while I was driving. These past 2 weeks was so hard that I didn't know. I was like, I felt like I'm about to die. I was like, it was extremely hard. But the one thing that kept me going was I came here for a reason. That there is, the money there was better, a lot better. And my son is counting on me. And then I'm like, it can't end like this for me to where I go into August. I'm like, we just got to get out this month. We have to get out this month. We have to get to August. And then I can start seeing the light. So we've accomplished the goal. I got through the hard time. Cried more than I thought I was going to about it because it was just really hard. But the whole time in between, now, in Charleston is actually aesthetically nice to look at. But, you know, if you go there, just drive around for a little bit, you'll see people like me stick out really, really obviously. It's kind of different there. But I could have taken advantage of the environment, like, you know what, during the downtime where it's just, you know, I could go to the beach. You know, I could go really explore the city. You know, I got a little in-between time. You can't kill yourself all day. You know, I can explore. No, I was working on the food business. I was like, let me figure out how to record these videos. And I was doing grill videos, having to stand out in 101 degrees, cooking, and just sitting there, taking it. Because this experience taught me that God is going to crush you sometimes to see what you will do during the crushing process. Are you going to break and succumb to pressure and slack? There was nobody telling me anything to do there. You got to go and be responsible and do what you're supposed to do. Nobody's going to wake you up and say, hey, you need to go out there and work. You got to go do what you're supposed to do. And then if you have a goal in mind, you have to make a sacrifice. Free time to work towards purpose and plan and plant seeds. I wasn't wasting no time. Workaholic, passing out, working on the projects. Got really great results. And so I'm starting to learn what I need to do to make my videos even more interesting. And through all of this, I then come back Friday. And so I'm like, okay, back to the provision looking like how it looks here. But I'm like, at least I'm to the next month, but I still have 2 bills that are behind. So this is where it starts to get, you know, I'm starting to learn more really quick now what God is doing. And I'm like, okay, God dog it, I still got the electricity and the phone bill to take care of. I was like, well, let me go ahead and set the promise to pay date, and that way they know when to expect it. I go to the phone bill, because I'm like, man, they haven't messaged me. They normally message me a day after if it's behind. But because I've been with them so long, they don't really, you know, like whatever. I go check, and the bill is disappeared. It's just gone. So I'm like, I'll refresh that. Let me go to the payment history. Nothing was paid. The bill is just gone. It's just gone. Not only is it gone, there's like a $80-something credit onto your account that's gonna go towards the next bill. So immediately I'm like, this is what God starts doing, what He wants to do, and His ways are not our ways. Doing what you can within your power, so that way He can show you what He can do within His power supernaturally. So, great, I'm in a good mood. Now, literally, that same day I had to pay a bill though. And that bill pretty much took everything at that moment. And I had like maybe $11 left into my name. I'm like, here we go again. You know, I was like, you know what, God, I gotta go to the store and get some syrup so I can have something for breakfast for my son. And I was like, I at least want to get a cup of coffee. I was like, this is ridiculous. You know, I was like, you got me out here like this. Like, I just want some coffee. I said, you know what, I'm going to McDonald's. I'm getting me a coffee. Because I was like, I don't care if I'm down to my last. If you're going to be a supplier, and all this and that, then I should at least be able to get me a cup of coffee. So I get in the line, I go to the window, I'm ready to pay, and they say, you don't have to pay, here you go, you can have it for free. So 2 times down, within an hour, God has shown me, he's allowed me to experience him. Now here's the kicker. This lets us know that God is controlling your life. And I know some people might say, well, but there's free will. He's not. Yes, he is. So free will is what I'm starting to learn now, is anything outside of the will of what God has for your life, you can do what you want. But anything that has to do with the will that God has for your life, he will not let you mess with. For instance, God, can I please get to my breakthrough, this and that? He ain't gonna do nothing. Because he has a specific time that he has for what he has for you. Now, if you're like, God, all I need is $30 so that way I can get this taken care of. Watch how you get that $30. Also, so that's the need, but he also adheres to things that you want. So if you go and say, God, I want $1 million, he's going to ignore you. He hears you, but he's going to ignore you. It's going to seem like an unanswered prayer. So you might see, he doesn't answer prayers, but something small. Like, there's no selfishness behind it, where you're just like, God, I just want some coffee. He gave it to me for free. So he pays attention to what we say. He does answer very quickly, because I had just did that and it just happened. So be very careful with what you start asking God, because when he's listening and he's willing to do for you, make sure you're asking the right thing. That's what it's all about. When we pray, we have to know what to pray for. See, a lot of the times people want the solution. God, help me fix this. When really, it's like, okay, God, if you have me in this, help me to know what to ask you so that way I can get through this. Oh, well, now you're talking. Because you're going to go through it whether you want to or not. But if you want to know how to get through it, almost like what Jesus had to do with the Peter, say, we're going to go to the other side. They were going through it. See, God is operating in a way in our lives. Once we gave it to him, we start to realize the seriousness of this. He is operating in our lives in a way that we don't understand. And even when I tell people this stuff, they say, okay, it's very clear that you have experienced God multiple times now, because now I can literally see what he's doing. Like, he'll move traffic. I promise you, I'm not making this stuff up. But, and you believe what you want, but I see this stuff with my own eyes. I'm like, this is not normal. Bills disappearing is not normal. People, you want a free cup of coffee, and then you go on the line and just that day, they give you a free cup of coffee. That is not normal. God controls things more than we understand, and he is literally controlling your life. If you want to keep making it through any type of situation that you're in, all you have to do is believe that there really is a God and that he really has the power to do whatever he wants in your situation. That's all you have to believe. At that point, like Solomon did, now that you understand this supernatural power that's with you, it's almost like a superpower, but not knowing what to do. As I say, great power comes with great responsibility. Do what Solomon did. Ask God, what should you do? Not just be doing stuff just because now you're like, oh, well, snap. We got the real deal with us. We need to start asking stupid stuff. Be very intentional about this wisdom and knowledge that we are getting, that I'm giving you, so that way God can manipulate your life in the way that will push you forward or help get you to where you're trying to go. Because that's what he's doing, is manipulating your life. He's puppeteering your life. He's controlling things around you to help you get to where you need to go. So it's deeper than what we realize. There really is a creator. Just like AI has a creator, we have a creator. we have a creator, there is a creator. So that's how I made it through this tough time, is because God was there with me the whole time, giving me the strength, providing shade when the heat was just unbearable, giving me vision, having the Holy Spirit with me, encouraging me, saying, you're a warrior, you're strong, rest, keep going, focus on the work. You can get through this. Once you know what you're really dealing with, it's going to give you that confidence and courage to keep going, because I promise you, God is controlling your life. And if you're like, well, why is he going so bad, this and that? Trust me, he knows how to crush you until you change who you are. That's what he did to me. During that hard stuff, there was a lot of stuff I was thinking about, and how he was downloading knowledge and wisdom in me. At the same time, changing me, getting me prepared for what's to come. Because what's coming is going to be great, and that's why the suffering is great, and the trials and tribulations are great. So, I hope this video has been a blessing for you. I'm going to keep you all updated on exactly what God is doing, but I promise you, this is bigger than we know. Hope you have a great day. Hit that like, share, subscribe button if you choose to do so. But otherwise, until next time.